English?
That's the kind of phrase she'd use.
What kind of phrase?
That's the kind of phrase that woman would use. It doesn't matter that or another, those crackling eyes. That smile, for example.
Pretty innocent. Pretty innocent example.
That's how to conceive an option. That's how it sneaks in and...
And a stream of light lights the corner of his mind, and a knife is there.
A knife is there.
Lurking.
Brightening the corners.
The corners. That's right. To go and seize it, the knife, to pick it up, to hold it, to feel very attractive, to have a lot of blood already spreading on the scene, and to sense, to foresee, he could have been more precautious.
The way she lays down over the puddle, the red puddle, her white dress, all soaked wet and quickly clotted, and the taint of this angst, this hollow angst, will not dissolve from the pit of his gut.
To look at her dress in distress, the way she attempts to undress, but underneath her white dress reveals many a same dress, increasingly stained red, and a silence that screams.
I couldn't mark the act.
He can never mark the act after it happens.
Nobody prevents
Then
it.
he tries to ignore it, doesn't he? He tries to forget.
Looks the other way.
How can you forget what you don't want to remember? How can you forget what you don't want to remember? How can you forget what you don't want to remember?
It's easily done. You just pick anyone and pretend that you never have met.
Forsaking is never that easy. Or forgetting. Forgiving? What does he mean to say? He feels helpless, never quite accepting the reasons of his actions while suffering the consequences of their necessity.
I do not know how to love you, yet the will to love is stronger than the will I have to live.
That's what he thinks sometimes.
That's what he thinks every time he tries.
Every time he fails.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you.
He doesn't understand that really, in English, as a burger you like to eventually left him.
Terrible incomprehension.
He's little more than a boy then. Still is.
Not many girls have left him though since then.
Not many, no.
How many?
One or two.
One or two.
Out of
How many?
how many has he had?
How many? How does he feel about that?
Is it better to leave or to be left?
He doesn't really know, does he?
Depends, doesn't it?
What though? Go away from me!
Me? Now look at his face, this countenance. So handsome, so unsure. How come he doesn't find someone such unexpressed potential, such unexpressed enthusiasm? It cannot even be said to be won. Want to come to my place? Hair initiative. Deep down, this is what he'd like, isn't it? He'd like to talk a bit, doesn't he? He needs to let himself go. Cannot be tedious now, can he, now that she... Who could she be? Who likes his English? Who smells of kindness and disenchantment? And who takes his hand? Yes. Takes his hand and presses it gently against her. Her hand, as if to sense her shape through his hand, and so he takes off her shirt, that's it, unpoetic, lips rambling her neck, fingers picking the back of her bra. But he cannot unfasten it, no, he cannot unfasten it, so she says, make love to me, she says. Billowing, she says. Sweet death away, she says. To the void that he fears, as he feels his feelings failing him, fears his feelings failing him.
It's in the intimacy of love. In the immersive intimacy of love that the seed of pain is planted, inadvertently planted. Lovers thrust their love against their loved ones and take turns. Yes, they take turns with pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain.
The way she clenches the knife. The knife that he dropped. The knife that inadvertently was tossed must have inadvertently ended up underneath their beds. She steps back. The way she stares at them. How would that make you feel? I love you, but I'm not in love with you.
But it's more.
Complicated?
It's more complicated.
Then,
That! The end! There's nowhere to dump it.
Unless they pretended.
He smells the end at every beginning.
Unless he pretends.
Leave unless alone.
Unless alone, always already alone.
And it's not really regret, is it? Feels more like disappointment, really. Constant disappointment.
There is a bit of regret, a sparkle of it. A bit of regret for something unknown, some alternative.
That single choice, the other choice not chosen or not even given.
That's the impossibility that he feels. The intimacy. The intimacy is the prospect. The impossibility of the prospect of both. Not just both, just wanting just both, but choice. Will to have choice must be impossible choice. Won't overcome choice. To get dressed. To light a cigarette.
As she does.
I'm innocent, really. I'm a blonde, innocent, intelligent, beautiful, pretty little girl. My scent is fresh. I'm a little white rose with fair little drops of fair little dew. What has become? What has of you?
Yet I sweat.
what was it? What was it that he felt? That he felt when he was younger and smelled while unaware?
Might be less romantic than taking stock on a rocking chair, on a squeaking porch of a summer night, in a cotton dress with a flower in her hair, and that sweat down her neck, and he wants that feeling back, and a cigarette to sketch with fading smoke drawn in the air, but he fails to feel what lures him there.
Plus he says dark.
Shapes come out of a void, of a
Past and a now, that's always been now, but never quite now.
Some kind of background noise.
Harmonious sounds like silent sounds, and everything's still yet restless.
Then it's a shock and a shudder, and suddenly you think one way or another, but it's just a question of will, no more chance.
And then you kind of warm up again, don't you? You kind of get used to growing habits as if your will was up to you.
But it's hard as you get to be here, as you get to be aware of the void. The void that you don't know that these lights have swallowed up, digested and excreted.
in you.
You remember long walks.
Hand in hand.
Days were never long enough.
Evenings never too cold. Never too cold for
Plenty farewells.
Mum calling him home.
You'll catch something!
He'd catch the flu. And she would pay him a visit and she would not restrain her kiss.
And that lady seeing them coming and going, that lady saying,
You're a nice couple, you.
How could you?